You have seen the name everywhere. On the front page, in your recommended list, in the mouth of every YouTuber you watch. Steal a Brainrot. It sounds like nonsense. And that is exactly why it became the biggest thing Roblox has ever seen. Let me show you what actually happened here, because the story behind this game is far stranger than the game itself. Start with the name, Brainrot, a word the internet invented to describe the kind of content that melts your attention into mush. Short clips, weird sounds, characters that make no sense. In early 2025, a specific version of this exploded online. People called it Italian Brainrot. Absurd little creatures with fake Italian names, invented by AI image tools and passed around until they became a shared language. There was no story, no meaning, just characters that were funny because they were strange. And then, someone put them inside Roblox. The game launched on May 16th, 2025. It was made by a developer known as Spider Sammy, under a studio called Dobig Studios. On paper, the idea was almost insultingly simple. You get a base. You collect little characters called Brainrots. Each one sits on your platform and slowly generates money for you while you do nothing. That is it. That is the whole loop. But there was one twist, and that twist is the entire reason you are hearing about it. You can steal them. Any Brainrot sitting on another player's base is not really safe. If you are fast enough, quiet enough, or just bold enough, you can walk into their server, grab their most valuable character, and run. The victim can defend with a temporary shield, but the shield runs out, and the moment it does, everything they built is up for grabs. Think about what that does to a player's brain. You are not just collecting, you are guarding. Every rare Brainrot you earn becomes something you are terrified to lose, and every base you walk past becomes a temptation. The game turned a simple idle collector into a playground of tiny heists, and people could not put it down. So how big did it actually get? Bigger than anything in the platform's history. By July of 2025, less than 2 months after launch, the game had already crossed 7 billion visits. Not players, visits. Then it kept climbing. In August, it hit 20 million people playing at the exact same time. And in October 2025, Steal a Brainrot did something no Roblox game had ever done. It passed 25 million concurrent players. 25.4 million people, all inside the same experience, in the same moment. It became the first Roblox game in history to ever cross that line. Let that number sit for a second. 25 million at once. That is more than the entire population of most countries. Playing a game about stealing tiny Italian cartoon characters off each other's lawns. But here is the part most players never stop to ask. Why this one? Roblox has thousands of idle games, thousands of collectors, thousands of games where money ticks up while you stand still. Most of them are forgotten within a week. So what did Steal a Brainrot do that the others did not? The answer is friction. Good friction. In most idle games, there is no reason to feel anything. Your number goes up whether you pay attention or not. There is no risk. And a game with no risk is a game you eventually close. Steal a Brainrot added the one ingredient those games were missing: loss. The possibility that someone could take what you earned made every second matter. It turned a passive game into a social one. Suddenly, you needed friends to guard your base. You needed to plan raids. You needed to log back in just to check if your best Brainrot was still there. That is not a game mechanic. That is psychology. And it is the same psychology that has powered every successful trading and stealing game on the platform for years. You do not fight for things that are safe. You fight for things you might lose. There is a term for what this game tapped into: loss aversion. It is a well-documented idea in behavioral psychology. It simply means that losing something feels roughly twice as powerful as gaining the same thing. Steal a Brainrot did not invent that feeling. It just built an entire game on top of it, using characters that were already living rent-free in millions of kids' heads. And the meme did the marketing for free. This is the second secret. The game never needed a huge ad budget because the Brainrots were already famous. Every kid already knew the characters. every creator was already making videos about them. So when a game appeared that let you actually own them, collect them, and rip them out of your friends' hands, it slotted perfectly into a wave that was already crashing. The game did not start the trend. It rode it, and by riding it at exactly the right moment, it became the face of the entire phenomenon. By early 2026, it was not even really a game anymore. It was a venue. In January 2026, the game hosted a virtual Bruno Mars concert that pulled in nearly 13 million concurrent players. A real global music star, performing inside a game about stealing cartoons. That is the moment a viral game stops being a trend and becomes infrastructure. So the next time you scroll past that name on the front page, look a little closer. Steal a Brainrot is not popular by accident. It is a near-perfect machine built out of three things: a meme that was already everywhere, a loop simple enough for anyone to understand in 10 seconds, and a single cruel twist that makes you care about something you are always about to lose. You thought it was nonsense, a silly name attached to a silly game. But you were looking at one of the most precisely engineered pieces of viral design the platform has ever produced. And the fact that it looks like nonsense is not a flaw. That is the trick. You have seen the name everywhere. And now, when you see it again, you will finally understand why you could never look away.